Welcome to Almost Here, Round the Corner Future Technology podcast with Richard Jacobs. Future technologies poised to transform our lives for better or worse are the focus of this podcast. Almost here means these technologies are now here and starting to be used, or just around the corner, from Bitcoin to artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Future Tech Podcast. I'm your host, Juliette Lamar, and joining us today is Michael Smolenski. He is the CEO at Lightstreams. Welcome, Michael. I'm sorry I screwed up your name again.
That's all right. It's a Polish name, but I'm not Polish. It's Smolenski, originally from New Zealand.
Oh, I can hear your accent. You do sound a little New Zealand-like. Kiwi.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit British in New Zealand, actually. I lived a long time in England.
Oh, we'll have to get back to that. So you're the CEO at Lightstreams. Can you give our audience a little snapshot about what Lightstreams is and what you do there?
Yeah, okay. So Lightstreams is a blockchain company. So Lightstreams is about creating technology that will enable real-world usage and widespread adoption of decentralized applications. So we've built some unique technology around this. So our blockchain is a specialized blockchain for content distribution. And what we do there is authorized content distribution. So you could think of content as things like music, video, art, images, and also intellectual property and personal identity information. So all that content can be used by these decentralized applications, which are new kind of applications. So think beyond the internet, the web applications we have today, or mobile phone apps. So these are new decentralized applications that can be built on our specialized blockchain with an authorization feature. So only those that you've given permission can access this content.
And tell us a little bit about your story. How did you come to be the CEO here, and what really brought you into the space?
Yeah, okay. So actually my background is an electrical engineer, and when I left New Zealand, I went to England straight after I graduated from university and worked in the financial sector there as a software engineer. Worked at places like Goldman Sachs and London Stock Exchange through the dot-com era. And we've seen in the dot-com era great centralization of data and information. You see the great centers of power like Google and Facebook and Twitter and like. So I've kind of gone through that in my career. And then in about 2014, I left that secure bubble of working in financial services and stepped out into the startup world because I saw Bitcoin had come onto the scene. And also at the time, there was what was called peer-to-peer lending. So lending, making loans between individuals and not through a central bank. So I got really excited about the technology and the whole decentralization and peer-to-peer behaviors and how that can really change society. And then through my startup journey, I got more involved with blockchain and smart contracts and like, and then Lightstreams came out of that, out of my own development and the problems that I saw with this technology that I wanted to solve for myself.
Yeah, that's the best way to get around to it, right? Is you're frustrated with some of the things that are happening, and you think, how would I fix this? Okay, I'm just going to fix it.
Absolutely, yeah. Actually, the way that it came about was I entered a Citibank competition in 2015 and got to the finals and won a couple awards for it. And this was about a real estate application using smart contracts on the blockchain. And it was about, when you pay your rent to your landlord, having those rent payments happening directly to the landlord but being recorded onto a smart contract that can then be used by, you can give authorization to financial institutions and things like that. That information is actually quite powerful. For those that you can share that information with. But I knew at that time when I was looking at the technology, there was a couple of things that it wasn't really going to fly and it needed to be solved. And that was one around scalability. So the blockchain, it wasn't fast enough. And the second more important thing to me is around the privacy, that anything that you put onto the blockchain, and a lot of people don't understand this, they think it's secure, which it is, but anything that you put onto the blockchain is completely public for everyone to see and is permanent. So that's quite a big weakness. But there's ways to solve it, and this is really what we've built for Lightstreams.
And, as far as the space goes in general, really what are some of the biggest changes that you have witnessed in really the way that people are viewing blockchain technologies and hopefully being more or less receptive to it? What do you think that's going?
Yeah, I mean, it's been really fascinating and interesting to see the last couple of years how blockchain technology has evolved, and also the public's perception of it. In the beginning, around 2015, when it really hit mainstream, people were saying blockchain's going to solve all the world's problems, and there became a great hype about it. And then we had a lot of projects just coming along, making a lot of promises without there actually being real tech underneath. Now we're seeing more real world projects coming through and more mature technology, and those other projects that we're just following the hype are kind of falling off now. So we're going through, the industry is going through a maturity transition. The other thing too is the industry is cleaning up as well. Before it was very maverick. A lot of people thought just because we're dealing with cryptocurrency that all the old rules that have been built up for hundreds of years, I suppose, around the financial market just goes out the window. I've worked in banks and in financial institutions, and it's very important, and it gets drilled into us about the importance of regulations around money laundering and knowing your customer, and violation and breaches of these rules are very serious. But in the blockchain world, everyone just ignored that. Maybe it's just a lack of maturity and being involved in the financial industry. So what we're seeing now actually is the cleaning up of that, and there's more compliance that projects are putting in place around knowing who their customer is and trying to avoid money laundering.
Absolutely. And so by working in this space, what are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned?
Well, I've learned a lot actually. One of the lessons I've learned is running a project in the crypto space, is the crypto world moves very fast. I used to work in the startup world, and I thought that world moves fast, but the crypto space, 1 minute people are looking at one thing, and another minute they're looking at another thing. So it's all about actually just building, looking at the fundamentals and looking at your project and what are you good about, and just focusing on that and keep delivering good tech, keep delivering things that are valuable to people, and that's the best thing to focus on, because the blockchain world is running from hype to hype at the moment, and you can get a little bit overwhelmed with all what's going on in the blockchain space.
And Lightstreams is not the first company to be doing this. What really is setting you apart from people who are trying to do a similar thing? Yeah,
so I guess what sets us apart, first of all, is our team. We've got a very strong and experienced team. We've got developers from Amazon, developers from Trivago. As a CEO, I'm an engineer and got a wealth of software experience and strong background in that. And some of the executives that are joining our team are very strong as well. So we've got a very strong team. The second thing is, with our background of working in blue chip corporations, we understand the importance of actually providing technology that's going to deliver real world applications, real world adoption of this technology. At the moment, there's blockchain projects that you've probably heard of, crypto kitties and things like that, and we're not really seeing real world applications coming through, and that is because the technology is still lacking in some areas. And this is what we're as a project in a company, we're really focused on that, and how do we bring this technology up to the level to be expected to function for real world commercial applications.
Of course, and I think that's the biggest challenge, right, is bringing it into our everyday real world, that people are using it without thinking about it. It's like using their credit card as opposed to cash.
Precisely. I mean, at the moment, you probably remember, before 2000, the internet was just very clunky and it was slow. You couldn't find anything, and you probably remember one of those modems that made that hissing noise when you're connected to the internet. And now, you got your mobile apps and it's really user friendly. Blockchain technology is like that. It's pre-2000 at the moment. You have to be quite technical to be able to use it. You have to know how to install things. It's just not very user friendly. And also the experience is not very good. The applications don't have responsiveness that you would expect in a application. So for example, if you click a button, you have to wait minutes for it to respond, and the average person is just not going to put up with that when they can use another application that's a lot faster. So there's a lot of potential there, but we still need to bring the technology up to be on par with the existing web technology.
And for Lightstreams, can people start using it right now, or is it coming soon?
Start using it today.
You can start using it today. Fantastic. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, you did as well, but you can start using it today, you said.
Actually, the Lightstreams technology is going to be launched very soon. So we've developed the technology. We're just actually waiting to launch our token to go with it. So our token is called a photon. So this is the cryptocurrency that drives the whole platform. So the technology is there. We've got a test network up and running. You can run the software, but actually it's not running in a production environment because we don't have the real tokens launched yet. So that's going to happen in a few months, we're hoping, and then the technology will be able to be used by developers first of all to build their applications on top of the platform, and then obviously the public when they can consume those applications.
And where do you see Lightstreams being in 3 years or so? Where's the future of Lightstreams headed?
Yeah, so we've got some great ideas ourselves about what applications we want to build upon this, especially around the peer-to-peer sharing of audio files and video files. So this is where artists can actually publish content directly to their fans rather than going through various intermediaries that take huge cuts. We all know that the artists are suffering at the moment with the current model of Spotify and etc. and YouTube. So we've got some fantastic ideas around that, and getting fans more engaged as well, so that fans can actually curate their own content and potentially earn an income for that. And also artists can find a new way of raising funds through their fans as well, which they currently can't do at the moment.
That is so cool. And I think that a lot of people who will embrace this type of technology and these things would be artists and people who are used to having to find creative ways to really get what they need moving forward. And these type of technologies really, I think, fit seamlessly into their world already.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the early adopters we think that will really like this technology and adapt to it is DJs. DJs traditionally produce their own content, and then they're quite technically able as well, and so we see them as actually delivering their content or distributing it directly to their fans as a potential first driver for this technology.
100%. So if there's a place for people who want to follow this journey of Lightstreams to get involved, potentially purchase some tokens, what is the best way to connect?
Okay, so the best way to connect is just to go straight to our website, which is lightstreams.network. And we've got quite a good customer tool. So when you come to our website, straight away you'll see either my face or other faces of our team. A little messenger will pop up, and then you can talk to us directly, and then we can answer your questions, and then you can go straight through and register for our pre-sale, or you can participate in our upcoming crowd sale.
That's fantastic, and that's lightstreams.network.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, and what are some of your final thoughts for our listeners that you'd like to share?
My final thoughts is, we're looking at a revolution that's just around the corner. There's been some disillusionment with blockchain technology because it hasn't yet delivered, but I am of a strong opinion that, from what I'm seeing from a technical point of view, that just around the corner there's going to be a huge change in our everyday lives with this technology, where, people will be able to connect better with each other and more efficiently and have greater value in return for that.
That is fantastic. Well, Michael, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join us on Future Tech Podcast. And and chat with us about all the different diverse ways that blockchain can be used, and then your wonderful solution to a lot of real problems that we're facing.
Oh, thank you very much, Juliet, for your time.
That is Mike Smolenski. He is the CEO of Lightstreams. I almost got it right, Michael. Thank you all so much for tuning in. This has been Juliet Lamar with Future Tech Podcast.
You have been listening to Almost Here, Around the Corner Future Technology Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Subscribe to this podcast, post a review to discover more future technologies that are poised to transform our lives for better or worse, such as Bitcoin, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.